Now, fun fact, I have it on good authority that we actually have some footage. This is rare footage of that greenlight pitch and some of the very first footage that anyone ever really laid eyes on outside of Santa Monica Studios. So I propose that we fire that up here and we see what we can see.
Yes.
Let's take a look here. Oh, here we go. And I think that's
Atreus.
Yeah.
That's Atreus without hair before we had our hair
How early
technique.
is this? How early is this footage?
This is like the second year, halfway through the second year of development. Now that's E3 2016.
So
yeah, this is the comparison.
This video that we're seeing here at the left side of the screen, this is sort of a rough take on what became the E3 2016 reveal, right?
Yeah, when we got everybody on the team, we inherited that 100 people. I wasn't really ready. We didn't have a lot of stuff designed. So there was that, hey, well, we have that short story of the hunt. That might end up being the beginning of the game. You know what? Let's just do that. And I was like, cool, I'm off the hook a little bit. We can get some stuff done. So
That's
we
when he
really
took his month-long vacation.
Right, and I was like, I'm out later. No, but what's fantastic is in God of War history, we always do the first level last. And in this game, we ended up just doing the first level like 56 times throughout the entire duration of the whole project. So you can see that we've really refined over and over and over again. And you know, at one point, I really liked Atreus without hair, the sort of mini-me thing, but you really were, Shannon was really against it.
I'm Shannon on this one.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I get it. You're all right because him with hair is wonderful. It's the hair
there
graphics you were able to do is amazing. Yes, they do look glorious. But what was cool about this is the sort of first introduction of taking Atreus out on the hunt would terminate with him getting the deer and having that sort of missed moment. And we were able to transition into another sequence in which you'd actually see, for the first time in the history of God of War, Kratos eating, right? Eating. So I was fascinated with this idea of doing it. We never ended up keeping it, right? Because it was a little awkward and weird. Like, he's eating.
Killed all those gods, didn't have to eat.
Right. But what was cool about it was they hunted the deer, and instead of just leaving it there, they actually used it. They ate it. So it was a nice little cycle of life.
This is fascinating to get this kind of look into development. I mean, there's so many things here that are very similar, look at this, but also radically different.
Yeah, I mean you can see the lighting, the engine, it was all still very early, right? And the models were still taking shape, and we were figuring out, really just getting our sea legs in all of this.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the color palette went from yellow to blue.
Right, yeah. I mean, that was a product also of the lighting being in its infancy. So, you know, the shadowing and sort of the full rendering engine and fog really was not online. So we were using an older version and just kind of cobbling it together as we would then move ahead and actually build the real sort of rendering engine we had.
I love this though. The broad beats are all there, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so interesting to see that. I appreciate you showing that to all of us. But such a memorable reveal. I mean, one of the greatest reveals in gaming history, I would argue.
Oh,
I mean, this just brought the house down at E3.
It did. I was row 8. Sitting in row 8.
It's funny because when I was sitting up there, I had no idea if people were cheering or if that was the sound effects and the sort of music playing. So as we couldn't hear it very well, so I'm looking over at Kevin who's sitting next to me. I'm like, are they cheering or is that the music? And he's like, no, I think they're cheering. I'm like, sweet.
Well, we have a little recap, a little post-mortem on that moment coming up here shortly, but that's actually not the only piece of early rare footage we have from God of War. We've got another slice of actually gameplay footage, very, very early, greenlight footage. So let's check that out now, take a little trip.
There it is.
Yeah.
Eating in his hand. They just finished eating the deer.
He doesn't waste skills.
Right.
I'm sitting
Is he the chew like 32 times before swallowing kind of guy?
He's a really relaxed eater, which you wouldn't expect. But I mean, he takes his time.
And Atreus is walking away, so maybe he's a vegetarian.
So this is cool because we were going to do the no-cut camera, we were looking at being able to have all of the menu systems take place inside the game. So when you would actually change out different moves, you would do that inside the game. But
on the axe blade.
Yeah.
Wow.
It proved to be a little bit too cumbersome and difficult to figure out while getting everything else done.
Now this is interesting too, and I see a lot of human enemies. You know, there may or may not be human enemies in the final game, but I mean that's not as much of the focus. I'm seeing a lot of humans here.
Yeah, this was, we kind of worked out our bipedal characters first.
Okay.
So everybody was built on this sort of same bipedal rig that we were animating in the beginning, and then we would tackle creatures after we kind of got all of that stuff
Got it.
working. And this was the early portion of really trying to get, what did it feel like to make that axe in-hand stick and feel heavy and weighty, and then started really exploring the fantastic axe throwing, being able to put it away and then go. Look, I love this move. We never ended up using it. It's a little bit long, but really good. That statue actually survived and made it into the final game.
Oh, he about to get it.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, I love this sort of history of game development stuff, and really a treat to be able to see this rare footage here. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, he getting that 2-piece in the biscuit right now.
And it's like, from a development perspective, this is like our sketch for what could the future look like. We knew this wasn't really the final look of everything, but it allowed us to explore, what is it like when Atreus has sort of autonomous moves? And in this case, it would be Atreus using Kratos' reactions and setups, and then hop over,
nice.
Nail that guy. So that was really good, but it proved very difficult to set that kind of scenario up. So then we started making the autonomous moves be more out in the field. And these are the more directed shots. That climbing sequence and this area actually ended up making it almost exactly in the game, the way that it is now, because we ended up animating the introduction to the ogre over the course of like a month and a half to 2 months. It took a long time to get that done. Let's see. Almost shot for shot there, and then he comes out, starts talking. He does not like solicitors.
He does not look happy. He is not happy.
So cool.
Wow.
Yeah, and this animation really was transferred over from our greenlight to the final game in this same area.
Wow.
Except here, I got the thing I really wanted. So when this camera pans around, I kept saying more enemies, right? And then they'd put one more in. I'd be like, no, like 10 more. I want like 100 enemies in there. It's insane. But it looked cool.
It looked cool. Yeah, that's great.
This is crazy.
I mean, it looks good here. I mean, the final game looks 100 times more polished, but fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting us reveal this for everybody.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that, check out some of our other videos on IGN.com and our YouTube channel. For more news, tips, and videos on your favorite games and entertainment, keep it here at IGN.